The town of Newcastle I have frequently spoken of as pleasantly situated and remarkably healthy, presenting to the invalid an interesting spot where he can both be benefited by the salubrity of the air and gratified with a very select and intelligent society. I was induced by these flattering representations to direct my course toward that enchanting village, with a view to enjoy the rural beauties of that fairy town, and dissipate the care and fatigue of a traveler in the company of its enlightened inhabitants. The sun had passed the median, and was fast verging on the horizon as I was roused from the agreeable reverie in which a solitary traveler so frequently indulges, by the prospect of a large concourse of people, crowding with great earnestness around the door of a tavern, within 2 miles' distance of my anticipated haven. It was natural for me to inquire the cause and occasion of this busy assembly. I was informed accordingly that it was a day of great festivity, of great national and individual interest, the day on which the depressed or elevated hopes of 2 powerful political parties were to be confirmed or disappointed. On riding to the house, some polite and respectable gentleman with an air of great complacency tendered me a ticket. I thanked him for his goodness in thus giving me an opportunity of becoming acquainted with the names of those individuals who were candidates for office, informing him at the same time that being an inhabitant of another state, I was not entitled to vote. On receiving this information, my good friend bowed and retired. He was a smart, active man who, I am since told, anticipates an appointment from the governor-elect. He will be noticed in the subsequent part of this journal, when I come to speak of the inhabitants of this fairy village. Another gentleman, to whom I desire to present my acknowledgments, conversed with me very freely on the politics of the day, and informed me fully of the characters and qualifications of the respective candidates. He was an elderly gentleman of great repute, gradually advancing in dignity and power, and has already attained the exalted station of chairman of a committee in the legislature of the state, and general corresponding and recording secretary for all of its associations, literary, political, and agricultural, with which he is connected. The leading members of his party proposed nominating him for governor at the next general election, although to my judgment the office of Justice of the Peace would be better suited for his active and investigating spirit. His haughty, dignified demeanor eminently qualify him for the support of an office to which so much importance is attached. Of this titled gentleman, however, more hereafter. Having taken my departure from the scene of political animosity, I hastened to accomplish the end of my journey. In the course of my remarks, some allusion has been made to an individual with whom since that period I have had the pleasure of forming an acquaintance. As I was strolling one morning in the neighborhood of my lodgings, I was amused with an audience of the conversation which took place between some members of a political party, who were facilitating each other on the results of the election, joyfully anticipating the official returns to confirm their delightful prospects. One of them, it appears, had heretofore been a servant of the public, until extraction by the fatigue and anxiety of office, he retired into the country to enjoy that otium cum dignitate, which, by the occasional changes that so frequently occur in the politics of this state, many are unfortunately compelled to seek. His countenance was marked with joy. The toils of office, he now finds, are less than those of a practical farmer, and he is determined to sit comfortably by his fireside, lavishing the encomia of his pen upon the excellence of the gubernatorial chair, rather than any longer submit to the drudgery of a country life. Away goes all the implements of husbandry, plows, oxen, carts, all knocked off to the highest bidder, and my favored friend hides away to the place of his former residence to steal a glance at the signs of the times. Welcome, a hearty welcome to this enterprising gentleman. If on the inauguration of His Excellency should pluck some feathers from the caps of one of the present incumbents to decorate his head, let past experience moderate his exultation. If others are deprived of their honors and emoluments to gratify the scruples of sectarian bigotry, he too may have his luster dazzled and his feathers robbed by the powerful influence of the next campaign. Yes, my good friend, should that principle of favoritism characterize the President-Governor-elect, which I am sorry to hear has heretofore been predominant among the rulers of your tribe, I fear the agents of this favorite junta will have to mourn its baneful tendency. This has been the experience of others who have relied too confidently upon the good things of office. Who makes the public good their boast, the end of all their wishes? With half an eye a man may see, they want the loaves and fishes. I deprecate everything like party distinctions or local jealousies in a free state. But in the little state of Delaware particularly, every manifestation of political intrigue tends powerfully to the destruction of their united interests, and consequently diminishes the little influence they may possess abroad. When popular elections are conducted with narrow, selfish views, and appointment to offices are made from partial considerations, rather than from a view to the good of the whole, sycophantic intrigue will triumph over virtue and talents, and a private station will be the only post of honor. The discretionary powers vested in the chief magistrate of a state, whether for the execution of the laws or nomination to office, should be exercised upon public principles, and not on feelings or prejudices of a party. Otherwise, the spirit of patriotism will vanish, and the death of Republican freedom will necessarily ensue.